Welcome to Smack Talk. I almost forgot what I watched. Again, that's not crackling of my microphone. It's not bacon sizzling in a frying pan. It is rain drops falling on leaves outside. It's soothing. It's relaxing. Let's just get into it. And as always, I don't always have a lot to say about every little intricate thing that occurs on a show. Damage Control caused Charlotte Flair and Asuka to end in a no contest. Didn't really like this opening as much as I love Charlotte, and I really like Asuka, except for that weird gold thong thing that she wears on top of her green pants. A little bit of an odd thing, but, you know, to each their own. Match felt a little wee bit like it was lacking some synergy. There was some synergistical, if that's a word. If not, it is now. Issues between the two of them. Things that looked awkward, despite the fact that these are two high caliber women superstars. So that's all I have to say about that. Moving on to the next thing. AJ Styles defeats Karrion Kross. I'm so done with the whole Scarlet thing. Doing the same goddamn thing all the time. Just really annoying. But I do like Karrion Kross. And I like AJ. Their feud is a little bit wonky. Don't really understand it. I feel like that's getting dragged out. But I don't mind seeing the two of them wrestle. I just don't like that there's an actual supposed storyline behind it. Because I don't know. I'm just not really invested in the storyline between the two of them. I'm invested in the two of them, just not the storyline, if that makes any sense. And when it comes to this, this I got something to say. Hold on, I need to take a sip of the silver bullet. It's not a beer, it's just Diet Pepsi. My fellow Canadian, Edge, celebrating 25 years. This took place in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Oh boy. It was great. Something I didn't know about Edge and Sheamus. The whole thing going back all the way to 2004 when Sheamus didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, pursue the career in WWE, people giving him the cold shoulder. WWE had gone to Dublin, Ireland, where literally Sheamus was at an event. He was bartending or doing some stuff at the time. Not bartending, bouncing, doing IT stuff. Whatever it was he was saying that he did. You know what he said when you watched the show. My ADHD brain is firing on too many cylinders. And Edge was the only person that actually went out of his way after he just wrestled. He was tired, gave Sheamus some advice, and it was literally one of those things where, not to sound cliche, where had it not been for that conversation, we may have never have gotten to know Sheamus. And then a couple of years back, 2018, 2019? When was it? 19? I think it was just a couple of years ago. They were biking together. They were hanging out. Real life friends, Sheamus and Edge. And Edge fell off his bike and he wasn't all like, you know, screwed up like a whatever. And that was the catalyst, as he put it, to saying, you know what? I just fell off a bike. I banged myself up. Why can't I go in the ring? And that is why we have Edge today in the ring. So this was like an amazing story. And they're going to have a match, by the way, in Toronto, in his hometown, I believe, next week. Because I think Raw is going to Winnipeg. And this is going to Toronto, the SmackDown, that is. So they're doing a little bit of a Canadian tour, which is kind of cool. Because, you know, we only have the biggest border that separates two countries on the entire planet, the U.S. and Canada. Even though, with all due respect to my fellow Americans, there are some Americans that don't know where Canada is when you show them the map. That's another story for another day. On my other channel. Let's keep it simple here with wrestling. So this was a beautiful moment. One of the highlights of the night for me. LA Knight defeats Top Dollar. There's nothing Top Dollar about him. It's cringy. You're not the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. You're like literally 50 Cent. not the rapper. Value. Okay? But I really enjoy watching LA Knight. It was interesting to see him, only because I thought he was on Raw. I'm getting my shows confused, but he might be a free agent. I really don't know. It doesn't really matter. It was nice to see. I just don't like them. I'm not invested in them whatsoever. But I appreciate seeing them, if that makes any sense. I always appreciate, like I said, any superstar that comes into the business, even if I may not be invested in them, because they bring a dynamic to the world of professional wrestling. However much of an angle it may be, or small of an angle, they're still bringing a dynamic. Okay? So, whatever. It was either that or the Viking Raiders. I know they're on Raw, I think, but my point is, it was nice to see. Now this, holy guacamole, let's talk about this little bundle of joy. Austin Theory 2 times takes out Santos Escobar. Right? Because he's a coward. And then, Rey Mysterio decides to jump in there. And he actually dethroned Austin Theory. 48-year-old who's got another 2 years in the tank. That makes sense. He's got more fuel in the tank. 2 years. 2 years of mileage. That's quite the fuel consumption I wish I had in a car. Assuming I even had a car to begin with. Anyhow. Wow, was that ever a shocker. On a non-PLE on top of that. And the thing that's amazing about this, actually, I just had an epiphany. Is that what it's called? Don't forget I'm French now. Je suis français, tabarnak. Complètement français. Austin Theory competed in the, I almost called it the Piper Pit, the Slim Jim Battle Royale at SummerSlam, but he didn't even defend his title at SummerSlam at a PLE, but instead savored it for SmackDown, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I like that because that brought an element of surprise, because I was totally like, yeah, Austin Theory's going to squash him. Austin Theory is going to squash him. And he didn't. So this, to me, was actually beautiful. I really, truly feel like Rey Mysterio deserves it. If you look at how long he has been wrestling, wow, because he's been with the company for quite a long time. And he is arguably one of the safest. I mean, apart from that time he, accidentally killed someone. We won't talk about that because it's not funny, but I'm just saying, not to be a smartass. Aside from that, he's a very safe competitor to face off against. I'd rather wrestle Rey Mysterio than Rich Holland. No offense. I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm being serious. And to me, it's nice to see. What's going to be really interesting to see is this whole back and forth between Santos always praising Rey. Yeah, may the best man win and all this and all that kind of stuff. And then Santos had his moment squandered, completely annihilated. I wonder if we're going to start seeing some jealousy, some resentment, some kind of internal turmoil. I can only imagine either that or Rey's going to go up against Santos and maybe Austin Theory in a triple threat. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. This was like, wow, I was blindsided, but not in a bad way. I really am happy for him. I think he's now a 3-time United States champion, and he is nearing the end of his career permanently. He's been around full-time. And I honestly have no problems with this. This whole Gunther holding it for so long, and I'll get into that in another video, where he hopefully defeats the Honky Tonk Man's record. Some people are against it, some people are for it. I might discuss that, like I said, in a separate video. Then we've got Roman Reigns, and like we almost have every belt that's quote-unquote feels like it's being held hostage, except for obviously Seth Rollins' newly acquired World Heavyweight Championship. I was starting to think, like, what is going on here with the United States Championship? So I'm very happy for Rey Mysterio. Now his son is also a champion. Oh boy! Jimmy Uso explained his actions, so I thought it was a complete heel move. Again, this took me by surprise. It was for his better interest because he was afraid of losing him, because he was going to inherit the power of the bloodline, of being tribal chief. I kind of buy it. So this was like two baby faces, essentially. And they turned on each other because Jay was like, come here, and then he bonked him in the face, and this really went somewhere. I wasn't explaining it to go, I wasn't foreseeing it to go. And I just don't know what the hell is going on moving forward. Because ultimately, in the end, Jay apparently quits because he's like, I'm out of the bloodline. I'm out of SmackDown. I'm out of the WWE. And usually, and I get it, the whole scripting thing. It's very rare for people to announce that on TV and then for it to actually come true and for it to be permanent. I don't think we've seen the last of Jay, but it is interesting to use that as a shock tactic. In the end, though, Jimmy did cost him the Universal Championship. He booted him in the face. Wasn't really like a nice brotherly thing to do, when you claim that you were concerned for him. When you're worried you're going to lose somebody, you don't boot fuck them with your shoe, with your boot. It's either a boot or a shoe. Shoe fuck. Anyways, you see what I'm saying? So I don't even know what the hell's going on. What is the future for Rey Mysterio with the United States Championship? I believe Austin Theory is going to be someday, potentially, truly, truthfully, maybe the next Cena, especially maybe like after Roman Reigns. He may become one of the biggest things around. It's not going to be Cody Rhodes for the long haul, with all due respect, unless he plans on being like a Chris Jericho or his brother, Dustin Rhodes, which is not a bad thing, by the way, which is sticking around week in, week out, and still doing it after like 30 years when you're pushing like in your 50s. It's pretty amazing, but realistically, I don't know how much longer Cody would have in the, like in the long term of things, right? Whereas, with all due respect, Austin Theory is much younger. I don't know what they're going to do if they're just not going to have him in the title picture for a while. I really don't know. But the Rey Mysterio thing, the Bloodline thing, the Edge thing with Sheamus, those were all like nice little surprises. And to make sure I didn't miss out on anything, yeah, Bobby Lashley again, very quickly. There wasn't much that went on there. Vow to take over SmackDown, saying that they need some new fresh bloodline, or fresh blood on SmackDown. I don't know who the other team was that Bobby Lashley was talking to. I don't remember. But again, it's going to be interesting to see how this develops, and I wish they would just kind of move it along just a little wee bit more. I have a feeling this is, in fact, going to be the Hurt Business 2.0. I don't know. I'm really intrigued to find out if MVP, get it? MVP and Bobby Lashley is what I think of when it comes to the Hurt Business. Having the Hurt Business not be there, or sorry, the Hurt Business being there without having MVP being there, and potentially Omos would seem like a misstep. But it also seems like they're going to be heel for the simple fact that they attacked, right? Those two tag teams, I forget who they were, but I just know that one of them was face and the other one was like the heel team. I don't know. Let me know down below what you think of this whole thing, everything. Rey winning the title, is he too old? Is it being greedy? Not on so much his part, but on the WWE. Should they have kept it on Austin Theory? Should they give it to somebody that's newer and up and coming? Is this going to potentially set up Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio? Could he end up with 2 belts? And then maybe dropping the North American NXT title to somebody else to try to up the prestigiousness, goddamn, the prestige level of the belt, and then maybe have Dom someday be a future United States champion. I don't know. There's all these things that are going through my head that's making me wonder, what are the creative plans moving forward for all these scenarios here? I just don't know. But the number one scenario I'm wondering about is main event Jey Uso. Just, I have no idea. If I get some more information, concrete information, maybe I'll make a video on that. I don't know. But until next time, take care. If you liked the video, thumbs up. As always, it does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. You didn't like it, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. We'll bend it in half, we'll twist it. Break it off in your ass as always. And what happened to his knee with the, not the coffin, it was like a chest thing. We'll put your thumb there and we'll just bonk it. And don't ask. And if you want to subscribe, I mean, naturally, that would be great. But if not, I get it. Thanks for stopping by anyways. That's me, by the way, right there. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.